Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos stuns on runway, see video. Golden Bachelorette alum Joan Vassos took a turn as a model in a runway show recently. But it wasn't just for fun. She shared on social media the heartfelt reason why she made her runway debut. Keep reading to watch the video of her show-ending runway strut. Joan Vassos makes runway debut. Joan Vassos took to social media earlier this week to let fans know about an exciting opportunity for her. She revealed that she was asked to walk for the American Heart Association's an affair of the Heart Luncheon and Fashion Show. The event took place on Friday, February 21st in Washington, D.C. According to its website, the event was a charity event to raise money to raise awareness about heart disease and stroke. Joan Vassos wasn't the first from the Golden Bachelor show to walk the runway. Her friend and former romantic rival, Susan Knowles, walked in the New York Fashion Week in 2024. Why the cause is close to her heart. Joan's Golden Bachelorette suitors stripped down during a group date to raise money for Stand Up to Cancer. Her husband, Joan Vassos, passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2021. While Joan is engaged to Chalk Chapel now, her first husband is never far from her thoughts. Joan was married to her late husband for 32 years before his untimely passing. They share 4 children together. Viewers met 2 of them during season 1 of the Golden Bachelorette when they flew Bora Bora to meet their mom's suitors. They gave their seal of approval for Chalk Chapel. Joan Vassos isn't afraid to use her fame to promote good causes. Popular retail store Bloomingdale's styled the models for the 2025 Affair of the Heart event. The reality star ended the runway show sporting a strapless gold and black dress. Her long blonde hair draped over her shoulders. Watch her runway walk below. Golden Bachelorette alum shares shocking amount raised. The Golden Bachelorette alum also attended the luncheon sporting an elegant red dress. She shared a photo on Instagram with stylist Susan Dyes. Today was amazing. So grateful and honored to have been a part of this, she wrote on the snapshot. She revealed that the charity event raised over $500,000 for the American Heart Association. Where was Joan's fiance? Chalk Chapel wasn't featured in any of the photos Joan shared on social media. Nor did he make any mention of it on his Instagram. However, he likely supported his fiance from afar. As fans know, the engaged couple don't live together. Joan lives in Maryland and Chalk lives in Kansas. They get together when they can. They originally planned to find a place in New York City, but the first apartment they found fell through. She told E! News earlier this month that they plan to keep looking in NYC this spring. The inventory is pretty low, and I'm really picky about where I want to be, like what feels comfortable to me, Joan explained about the delay. The soft hum of conversation in the grand ballroom of the Beverly Hilton fell to a murmur as the announcer's voice rolled over the loudspeakers. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be dazzled. Please welcome Joan Vassos. From the moment her name was called, the air changed. Every eye turned toward the edge of the glittering runway, a long golden path lined with fresh white roses. The lights dimmed just enough to make the crystal chandeliers above twinkle like stars, and a golden spotlight illuminated the entrance. Then she appeared. Joan Vassos, the Golden Bachelorette, the woman America had cheered, cried with, and rooted for, stepped onto the runway with the grace of someone who didn't just belong there. She owned it. Her gown was unlike anything seen on the fashion circuit in recent memory. A cascade of liquid gold fabric hugged her figure before spilling into a soft, flowing train that seemed to move with its own heartbeat. The bodice sparkled with intricate hand-sewn crystals, and the sleeves fell just off her shoulders, balancing elegance with a subtle dash of allure. The room gasped audibly, not just at the dress, but at Joan herself. At 61, she exuded a confidence that went far beyond the usual ageless beauty headlines. She wasn't trying to look younger. She was simply radiant in her own skin, her warm smile making the room feel smaller, more intimate. As she took her first step, Joan felt the stage beneath her heels and the weight of her journey. Months earlier, she'd never imagined she'd be here. In fact, when producers first called about walking in the Golden Glam Runway benefit, a high-profile charity fashion show pairing beloved reality stars with couture designers, a mom and a grandmother, she told them over the phone. Not exactly runway material. But the designer, a soft-spoken visionary named Luca Moretti, insisted she was perfect. "You are the story women need to see," he had told her during their first meeting in his airy Los Angeles studio. "You are proof that style, beauty, and love don't have an expiration date. And I have a dress in mind that will only work for someone who has lived enough life to carry it." That line had stuck with her. So she said yes, and weeks of fittings, rehearsals, and pep talks followed. Luca was meticulous, adjusting the gown's seams by millimeters, carefully selecting crystal placements to catch the light just right. Joan trained with a runway coach who reminded her, this isn't about pretending to be a 25-year-old model. It's about bringing you to that stage. Now as she walked, Joan remembered all those words. She wasn't thinking about her posture or whether her left foot crossed over her right. She was thinking about every woman who had ever been told her best years were behind her. The front row, packed with celebrities, fashion editors, and Golden Bachelor Nation alums, leaned forward. Jerry Turner, her old co-star and friend, was there beaming with pride. Several of the women from her season were waving and cheering, phones held high to capture the moment. Halfway down the runway, Joan paused at her mark, turned her head ever so slightly, and gave the audience a smile. Not the polite smile of someone enduring a photo op, but the kind that makes you believe she knows a secret you'd love to hear. The cameras loved her. The flashes were relentless. The MC, clearly caught in the moment, ad-libbed. "Ladies and gentlemen, that is how it's done." Backstage had been a different story. Just before she stepped out, Joan had been pacing, nerves humming in her chest. She'd overheard two younger models talking, one whispering that it was sweet they let her walk. That let hung in the air like a challenge. She could have taken it personally. Years ago, maybe she would have. But tonight, she decided those words were fuel. She wasn't here as a novelty. She was here because she had earned this stage, because her presence mattered. Luca, sensing her energy, had squeezed her hand before she walked out. "Remember," he said, "every step tells a story. Make them listen." When Joan reached the end of the runway, she turned gracefully, the gold train fanning out behind her like liquid sunlight. The applause was deafening now, and not just polite applause. This was the kind of roar usually reserved for icons. Somewhere in the crowd, she spotted her daughter's tear-streaked face. Seeing her mother this way, not just beautiful, but powerful, clearly meant something deeper than fashion. As Joan walked back toward the wings, her eyes met Luca's. He was grinning like a proud parent. "You changed the room," he told her the moment she stepped off stage. "Did you feel it, the shift?" That's what happens when someone walks not just in a dress, but in their truth. The after-party was a swirl of champagne flutes, camera crews, and congratulatory hugs. Joan was pulled into interviews where she was asked about her skincare routine, her secret to confidence, and whether she'd be doing more modeling. She laughed at that last one. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves," she said. "I'm just happy I didn't trip." But when the conversation turned serious, she admitted the moment meant more than she could have anticipated. It's not just about walking down a runway, she told one reporter from a national morning show. It's about showing women, at any age, that you're allowed to reinvent yourself. You're allowed to surprise people. And you're allowed to shine without apologizing for it. Later that night, Joan slipped away from the crowd and stood outside on the balcony overlooking the city. The Los Angeles skyline shimmered, and the warm night air carried the faint scent of gardenias from the arrangements inside. She thought about her life before all of this, the quiet days, the private griefs, the moments she'd wondered if excitement was something she'd only find in memories.